The reason you're struggling on defense right now in college football 26 is because you're not using the best settings. Or worse, you can't stop corner routes. But don't worry, by the end of this video, I'm going to solve both of those issues and more with these 5 tips that you can implement in your next game. Let's jump right into it. All right, like I just mentioned, that first tip is going to be the best defense settings you need to be using. Let me show you. All right, so when I talk about defense settings, you're coming to your game options first, all right? You can do this on the main menu or you can do this in a game. You're gonna come down all the way until you see gameplay helpers. Make sure you have defensive ball hawk on, heat seeker assist on, right? Switch to delay on none and defensive switch assist on. I don't know why my settings got reset, but ball hawk's gonna help you catch interceptions when the ball's in the air better, as it says right here on the right side. Heat seeker assist is gonna help you tackle better when you're trying to stop the run, which we're gonna talk about later in the video. And then switch stick delay obviously removes the delay on your switch stick, something that I also believe we might be talking about later in the video, but you just have to stay tuned to see. But when we come to coaching adjustments, we're gonna press the right stick in, all right, at the play call menu. This is how you open your coaching adjustments. Click that right stick in, click on, come down to cornerback matchups. Make sure you have this on balance. Do not use any of these other ones, okay? Don't even touch them. You'll just mess up your whole defense. Defense and motion response on disabled. Okay, zone drops are going to depend on the situation, something else we're going to talk about later in the video because they're very important. Safety depth close, safety width on pinch is what you need to be using. But let me show you what's going to happen if you use anything other than cornerback matchup unbalanced. Okay, so essentially if you have a buy speed, let's just say Bray Hubbard's pretty slow, so they're going to match him onto the tight end. Let's say this guy happens to be super fast. Well, they're going to line this guy across from the fastest receiver. Let's just say it's number 8. Then he's maybe the second fastest DB, so they're going to put him right here in the slot. All right, let's just say this safety or this corner right here, he's matched up onto this guy. All right, and then you can just see that they want to align him over the running back, and maybe they want to put him over here, whatever. You can see how our defense is completely crisscross, misaligned now. When you're in zone coverage, why is this going to be a problem? Because your zones are going to stay in the same area guarding a guy across the field, but they're trying to match up in man coverage now. So you can see how the whole defense looks messed up. And you're not going to be able to fix this unless you call a timeout or don't use a setting at all. But if they take the snap, call a half decent route combo, right? They're going to have a guy wide open down the field for an easy touchdown or an easy big play. Okay, so bottom line, you just need to make sure it's on default, because when they no huddle and snap the ball, that's going to happen so often, all right? So, I mean, you can't let that happen, right? Obviously, that's an easy touchdown. So just leave it on default, all right? Or balanced, which is the default setting. And then when you come out on defense, defense is gonna be aligned. You're gonna be able to make your adjustments, and you're gonna be perfectly fine, right? To play good defense, just like that, especially if they don't actually call good plays. All right, so those are the best defense settings. Some more we're gonna talk about later in the video, but those are the baseline beginner settings you need to be using. All right, and so like I mentioned in the intro, also, you can't stop corner routes, but when you try to stop the corner routes, you also can't stop drags. Let me show you how to stop both of them and do it at the same time. All right, so we're gonna come into nickel 3-3 mint here. We're gonna call Tampa 2. All right, we're going to also have them just call deep flood, a good play from gun punch. Okay, so what's gonna happen is they're gonna call flood concept, where they're just gonna flood this right side, a very simple route concept, corner streak flat, and then they have a backside drag. Well, you call cover 2. I mean, really, no one's covered here in this play, and they have a wide open touchdown right there on the sideline. They can throw their out route if they want to, all right, and they can throw their corner out if they want to, all right? So this is just not good defense at all, and this is probably what you're doing against route concepts like this. You're just calling stock defense, and you're just getting beat, all right? This time we're gonna call the same defense, or excuse me, the same play from them, but this time we're gonna actually take away their corner out. So you're gonna shade your coverage down, and now you're gonna see that the drags are gonna be guarded, the drags and the out routes, but still, you're still giving up a wide open corner out given their quarterback makes a good throw. So you're still not playing good defense. And on the flip side, right, if you go ahead and stem your zones all the way up, right, so now you can actually take away their corner out, as you could probably imagine, what's gonna be open? The out route's going to be wide open right here. The out routes to drags. So cover 2 is going to do a terrible job of guarding this play or these types of plays, because you're just going to have to pick your poison. Now, if they only have one or the other, right, let's just say they just called a route concept like this. Well, now, yes, you could just shade your coverage down from cover 2, because now all you have to do is stop the flat. But good offensive players are going to attack every level of the defense and make it really hard for you to actually do that. And it's not just cover 2, right? Cover 3 is also not going to be very good against those type of plays, but we're going to come back into a cover 2. Cover 2 is the problem, but cover 2 is also the solution here, okay? So you're going to come into cover 2, but the key adjustments you're going to make, and this could be any cover 2, any playbook. You're going to come to your zone drops, put your flats on 5, curl flats on 25, all right? Now you're going to come into Tampa 2. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put your slot corner in a curl flat. All right, curl flat the slot corner, and then you're going to curl flat the outside linebacker right here. All right, so it's going to look something like this. Now, so you have a 20 or did I put him on 20? I might have put him on 25. I think in this game, in college football 26, you want to put him on 25. Maybe if you're playing Madden, you can put him on 20. But they're going to call this same exact route concept, and now you're going to see how both of them are going to be guarded. Boom, out route's guarded. Corner route, we'll have a guy dropping all the way back there, and they're able to see our safety. Because of that, our safety's able to break on the pass and get an easy interception. All right, so it really just comes down to using your zone drop, something we talked about in the intro segment of best defense settings, using your zone drops to take away these passes. Out routes guarded, drag routes guarded when he comes across the field, and obviously when this route runs over the middle of the field, you're going to have a user defender to chase him over the middle and then pass him off to the flat. But this is just textbook, right? We sit on their corner route 25 yards. They're going to have nowhere to throw that, and then we're able to sit on their out route. So that really solves the problem. That works against posts, corners, pocos, outs, drags, smoke screens, whatever you need to do. The 25-5 combo out of cover 2 using your zone drops is going to be your answer, and one you need to take note of. All right, you feel like you're really bad at making adjustments out of zone coverage. Let me show you a way to play lockdown man defense here in CFB 26. All right, so we're gonna come into a man coverage based play. That could be for us cover 1 robber press. All right, we're gonna come into cover 1 robber press, and what you're gonna notice is that we have man coverage right here on everyone, obviously, but especially look at number 8 on the outside, their receiver. All right, he's going to be running like this, basically in route. He's gonna round it off a little bit at the top, and then he's gonna run the in route. All right, so this is a pretty good man beating route. You're gonna see, I mean, obviously it's gonna depend on the corner that he's playing against, but you can just see how he takes off the line of scrimmage, and then, you know, tight window throw certainly, and we drop an interception. But he did create separation on that route. Luckily for us on defense, right, when you run cover 1 robber, you have a robber defender who does a really good job of closing that airspace and taking the pass away, right? But that receiver creates separation against that corner. So I want to know, or you want to know, how you can make this better. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to think, oh, let me just shade inside. All right, and yes, man coverage is very unpredictable, so there's going to be times where just shading inside is going to get the job done. All right, so boom, we're going to take this snap, and you see how this is much better man coverage. Although, again, if we have more time in the pocket, you know, we're able to hit that dig. But, you know, we're not going to really worry about that, just because it's like, if the pressure gets there, if he's able to play man for long enough on that play, like, we're good, right? He did a good enough job here. He needs to thank our defensive tackle, right? But that's good man coverage, but it could be better. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to shade inside this time, and then you're going to press Y, you're going to press A, X here, because X is the receiver, and then you're going to route commit. So you're going to press left stick right to route commit inside, all right? So that's what you're going to do. Now you're route committed inside. So now what's going to happen is you're going to take the snap, and he's going to do a really good job of actually guarding that throw, all right? Obviously, like I said, you're in cover 1, so there's a lot of time going to be guys around in the area, right? But this is just, I mean, this is, you can, I don't know if you can really ever be perfect in man, but does a great job on the press, forcing him to, you know, bump inside, and then he's really staying on top of the route, and he's just hip checking the guy, and that's a really good defense, and he's probably going to be able to break that pass up, you know, if it's an accurate throw. All right, so that's really good, and that's using the route commit feature. Now, we're going to come over here and, you know, put Simmons on a corner route, for example, right? We're going to put Simmons on a corner route with this outside corner. All right, so this time you're going to shade, this time I would shade outside, all right? And then I would route commit outside, because I think he's going to be running a corner route. So boom, we're going to take this snap, route commit, and you can just see how he's sitting on that route, and he's able to break it up because he's essentially running the route for the receiver, right? So boom, we're going to take it, corner route, boom, sitting on it, and we're able to just jump up and break that pass up. Great defense, right? No real problems for us, and we're able to take the pass away, all right? But you're going to say, BLT, what if they run a post route? right? What if you guess wrong? You route commit outside, but then they run a post. Well, you're gonna route commit outside, you're gonna shade outside, all right? I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do both. For some reason in this game, and I mean, it's just how it works in this game, this is still going to be good defense, right? He's still going to be able to, like, you could see how he's still just sitting on that. I mean, he's still able to break that pass up. He's in a great position to guard it, even though we shaded wrong and we route committed wrong. And obviously, when you have better corners, you're going to be able to, make your man coverage better, down the field here. But boom, we just sit on it and we're able to break the pass up. So bottom line, you need to start using the shading feature if you're not already, because it's like the baby, right? And then once you really get to the big leagues, you start using that route commit, then you're able to really play lockdown man coverage. Again, kind of regardless of the corners that you have, their ratings, you're gonna do a great job of just sitting on the receiver's routes. All right, if you're enjoying this video thus far, go down below in the comment section and comment free, and I'll send you a free guide to dominate college football 26. I'll see you over there. All right, your problem is you feel like even when you run zone coverage, there are guys running wide open and you don't know what to do. Let me show you how to fix that. All right, so we're gonna come into nickel 3-3 mint right here. Again, this is regardless of the defense that you're running, this specific tip, I would put my zone drops back onto my, what I like, default 5, default. But we're gonna come into cover 3 cloud. All right, we're gonna come into cover 3 cloud and we're going to set the defense up something like this. All right, so really what we have to make sure that we're doing when we're running zone coverage is swish sticking and having a good user, all right? This is the example I always like to use. Let's have them put B on a shriek, RB on a crosser, and X on a drag. All right, so this crosser and this drag is going to be very open against both cover 3, any zone coverage defense, right? So let's just go ahead and have them take the snap, right? And you're gonna see, boom, RB's open across the field, but if I wanted to throw the B receiver, or excuse me, the drag, if I wanted to throw the drag when the play started, I certainly could have, right? We look at the instant replay, and this is what's probably happening to you. I could easily just throw this, boom, right here. Now I wait and it's taken away, but that's because RB is now open. So really you're just picking your poison, and it's gonna be very tough for you to play defense, when you're doing that. All right, so we're gonna have them call the exact same play, but I wanna show you what having a good user means. All right, so we are going to user this linebacker right here, Jefferson. All right, we're gonna take him, we're gonna user him, but this is what I mean. When I say you have to have a good user, you have to understand that if they call this play, user this crosser. Don't worry about the drag, okay? It's a drag route. You're gonna come up and make a tackle. If you just call bad defense, you give up 2 routes wide open, okay? The focus needs to be on the deeper one, all right? You don't wanna come down and take away that drag and then give up a 30-yard crosser over your head. Give up the drag, come up and make this tackle with this corner, and you're gonna give them a first down, 10 yards, instead of a crosser over the top for 30 or more, right? So that's what I mean when I say have a good user, okay? When you have bad defense, or if they just beat you on that play, they win that rep, they call a better play than you had defense. Take the loss and just go user the deepest route in the field so that you can move on to the next play. That's kind of what bend but don't break means, right? You don't want to give them the big play over the top. But there are ways that you can still take them both away at the same time. All right, so you're gonna come X, you're gonna put RB on a crosser, you're gonna put B on a drag. All right, you're going to set the defense up the same way. All right, boom, take the snap. You're gonna use the crosser, but then you're gonna come down, boom, and take away the drag, okay? But here's the thing. On that play, I got the switch stick wrong. And this is switch sticking, right? I wanted to switch stick onto this defender, all right? And I just couldn't. All right, so we're gonna try it again, and that's why switch stick takes practice, and you'll probably never be perfect with it. But we're gonna set the same route concept up from them. All right, boom. But this time you're gonna see I'm going to user this drag, boom, and then I'm gonna switch stick here and take away the crosser. Now you're able to see both of them are guarded at the same time on that play, and we don't have to take our loss like I showed you earlier, right? If you're not good with the switch stick, that's what I mean, have a good user. But when you are good with the switch stick, you're able to switch multiple times and take them both away. Okay, boom, drag is guarded. All right, now I come back up and I take away the crosser as it's running across the field, for a big gain. All right, so that's what I mean when I say have a good user. Make sure that you're taking away the deepest route in the field so that you're not just giving up wide open passes. But if you do notice 2 guys are open and you feel comfortable enough to switch stick with the right stick, start using that, and then you're able to take them both away. All right, all college football games are won in between the 20-yard line. let me show you how to play better red zone defense. All right, when I talk about red zone defense, I'm going to be talking about two main concepts here, okay? So I'm really going to be talking about from the 20 to the 10, all right? So how you have to play defense. And really all I like to do is play cover 2. All right, when you play cover 2 defense, and let's just say the ball's at the 10-yard line, essentially you don't have to work, like there's not a lot of space for them to work. They really only have 20 yards here. The end zone's 10, right? And then you have, the other 10, so they don't have a whole lot of room to work with here, and they understand that routes run differently. This corner route this is a terrible route to have on the field. Corner routes, post routes, a lot of routes, once they get inside the 20-yard line, inside the 30 really, they start running differently and they run poorly. All right, so they're not going to be able to call corner route flood concepts. Everything changes once they get down here. They have to rely on more underneath routes, like out routes, in routes, drags, curls, right? That type of thing. And really the best way to slow that down is just call cover 2. Because when you call cover 2, you have 5 underneath zone defenders, right? And then you also have the freedom to change up your coverage. So maybe I might put a middle third, and then I might man up their tight end and do something like this. Because over here, I don't really need a deep zone, because no one's going to put a shriek on number 8, right? And if they do, you tip your cap, or you could switch it, but very rarely do they do that. So you're able to kind of just play really aggressive underneath coverage because you're in cover 2, and because of that, you're going to have those underneath defenders. So boom, obviously it's going to depend a little bit more on the route concept that they call, but you see how we're all just pretty much sitting at that goal line area? Now, obviously you would want to come up a little bit more so they can't like throw up to the 5. So maybe move your zones down or switch stick, do what you got to do. But you're able to see how you're able to play really aggressive right here. A lot of people love utilizing their tight ends in the red zone, but we're playing really aggressive with Bray Hubbard, and we're just getting him to come down and take this away. And then you're also able to see the out routes taken away right here, and then obviously everything else, because we have great flow. And then obviously we come down and take away this back. So that's what I mean when I say red zone defense. It's like, hey, let's just think about this conceptually. We just have to run cover 2, have a bunch of underneath zone defenders, and then we're just going to be sitting on all of their routes because we know that they can't attack us deep. They don't have enough room, so we can get really aggressive. But once they start moving that ball closer and closer to the goal line, it starts to become more about RPOs and run defense, right? So we're going to come to an RPO. This is a great one, RPO read Y flat. All right, this is one that I'm sure you played against, and it certainly is the meta, okay? I would come into a cover 6 match defense. All right, I'd put my curl flats on 0, so cover 6, 3-3 men. All right, I'm going to stand right here over this guard with my user because I want to be ready to stop the run. I'm going to stand about 4 yards back. All right, boom, I'm going to take this snap and I'm going to try to loop around and make that tackle in the backfield. Very, very easy. Obviously, having better linebackers makes it a lot easier, but you're able to see I'm just able to loop around, shoot that gap, and run through and make that tackle. Also, you have more guys in the box just because we're in a match coverage defense, cover 4 side, we're going to be sitting, pretty close to the line of scrimmage. And so we're able to make that play. So that's run defense, the run defense part of the RPO. But if they want to obviously pass the football, call a pass play on an RPO, or throw the pass out there, well, we have to be ready for that too. And the best way to do that is to really start utilizing what I talk about, RPO defense, okay? We're going to take Bray Hubbard right here, and we're going to man him up onto their tight end, whoever's getting the flat route, okay? If you know their play, that's better. That's obviously better for you, but that's why you also want to make sure you have a hard flat, like on your slot corner right here, for example. So this is the defense. Man up whoever you think's getting the bubble or the flat, and then hard flat on another player. All right, so we're going to set the defense up the same way. You still have to be ready to stop the run, though, because it's an RPO. They have 2 options, right? But we're going to see, boom, taking snap, we're looping around, shooting a gap, and we come up, make that play very, very easy and effortless in the backfield. But you're also able to see, boom, right here. And we have a hard flat here. Now, unfortunately, I pass committed and Bray Hubbard still comes down and tries to stop the run, which is very frustrating. But that's why I say you have to cover your butt with a hard flat defender, because you have to make sure that if one of them goes wrong, you have another answer. All right, so this time I'm going to try to man up the tight end here with my slot corner, and then I'm going to put Bray Hubbard in the hard flat. So I'm just going to switch it up right here and then pass commit my defense, maybe change something up. Hopefully we can play better, but the pass commit is the key so that no one's looking into the backfield to stop the run. All right, boom, we're going to take it, and there we go. All right, our guys are sitting out there. actually defending the pass aspect, and then I'm right there to stop the run. So boom, same thing that I'm talking about. He's manned up, all right, but we also have a hard flat right here, and so we're able to take them both away. You can see on the last 2 plays, the man up assignment didn't really work as I wanted it to, but the hard flat's gonna come down and crash this play and make it very, very easy for you. So again, once they start driving that ball closer and closer to the goal line, they're gonna start utilizing RPOs more. And although you could run the same RPO defense in the middle of the field, by the way, it's not just red zone. This is how I would stop every RPO regardless, but it's common in the red zone. So that's what you need to start doing. Manning up, hard flatting, pass committing, and making sure you're ready to shoot a gap by looping around with your user. Alright, if you enjoyed that breakdown, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. But if you're still struggling on defense in college football 26, I want to work with you one-on-one to change that. Check out this video right here where I break down all the different ways that we can work together to transform your game in CFB 26. I'll see you over there.